modern society sort of makes you feel like you lack the capabilities. To this question, all I can really say is trust yourself, because no one knows you better than you. Hey everyone, so I have just finished editing this video that you are currently watching, and my camera was having some technical difficulties, so some of the footage have all disappeared, and my camera is now off at Sony getting repaired, so hopefully that will be sorted really soon. But I just wanted to introduce this video by saying that this is part 3 of the home birth Freebirth Q and A that I have been doing. So you can see part 1 and 2 as well, which will be in the description below, as will my birth story. And I truly hope that this video helps some of you all out. So thanks for watching. Were you worried about birth complications, and did you have a plan? So I ended up having to write down the answer to this just because I did not want to forget any of it. Personally, I was not worried about any birth complications. That's mainly because of the level of trust that I had in my body's capabilities to birth this baby, and also the trust that I had in my baby. When it comes to free birthing, you really have to work with communicating with your intuition and your body and your baby. I trusted that I would know if something was wrong, and in that case, then I would have transferred. And we did a lot of research into all of the major things that could have happened, so that we actually felt 100% confident in our decision to not only know what to do if one of those complications sort of happened, but also when to transfer and when to call the ambulance. So I think that those are really, really important things to do as well when you are planning a free birth. What, if anything, would you have changed about your home birth? So as far as it all goes, I would not have changed a single thing because it was absolutely perfect. I'd love to say that I would have preferred not to go to hospital afterwards, and looking back, I totally would have preferred not to go to hospital, but at the same time, I believe that the universe does things for a reason, and the fact that I went to that hospital and then I had a really, really healing experience at a hospital as well just sort of reinforced that the universe planned for that to happen, and it ended up perfect anyway. The only other thing that I would have, I guess, changed would be that I would have got a birth photographer. I would have loved to have had a little bit more look back on about the birth. So, you know, I had all the intentions of it being videoed and photos and everything, but in that moment it just never happened, and I probably didn't talk to my birth team enough about how I really, really want photos and I really, really want videos and things. But also in the moment they were all busy doing all their own things. But I think, yeah, for next time I would definitely hire a birth photographer so that I have a little bit more memories of it. And I don't know, I would have loved to have seen the baby's head coming out. Any advice for first-time mothers wanting to free birth? This is a very, very good question, but I'm just gonna try and adjust that because the sun keeps like blaring on half of my face. I think this position's a little bit better. To this question, all I can really say is trust yourself, because no one knows you better than you. Your body made and grew this baby, and it knows how to birth this baby too. And women for centuries have used their power to birth babies, obviously, otherwise humans would still not be here. And it's only been modern society that has made women feel like they're not capable of birthing their babies and that they don't have that power. Modern society sort of makes you feel like you lack the capabilities. Your body lacks the capabilities to birth your baby. Birth has to be painful, it's an emergency, and that someone else has to tell you how to birth your baby, which is obviously not the case at all. Although in most cases that person is a doctor telling you how to birth your baby. Trust your baby because they want to be born, and they will be born when they choose to make their way earthside. And tune in with yourself, your baby, your power, your intuition, because no one knows you like you do. Did you experience anything like an out-of-body experience? 100%. During the labor itself, I was in and out of this world completely. And by that, I mean that I was having flashbacks and reliving experiences that I had already gone through in the past. I went back to some of the hardest and most challenging moments that I've had in my life so far. And I feel like that was sort of an emotional release in a way. Like, in birth, you're so vulnerable, and to be having all these flashbacks, I feel like it was my mind letting go of everything through every single contraction I had and every single roar that I made. And then another out-of-body experience was when Otis was about to come out. I was suddenly above myself watching the entire thing happen. And basically I saw this huge white light come down from the skies and go down through my body and through all of my chakras to my root chakra, which is obviously where he came out. And when he did come out, it was so intense that I literally had to put both hands on the wall to hold myself up. So I actually was not able to catch him. Ricky caught him, but yeah, it was just so intense, that moment where the light just hit the ground. How did you prepare for free birth physically and mentally? I'd love to say that I did yoga and exercise every single day, but I didn't. I chased a toddler around every day. I had baths. I walked. I bounced on my birth ball. I guess they're preparing physically. And then mentally I did meditations and birth visualizations as well. And I read some really, really incredible books, spoke to some incredible people who had free birthed before as well. A lot of birth books that I did read and the people that I spoke to just made birth so normal and not scary and not painful, which is kind of the opposite that you get in this society where, you know, the woman is on a bed and is screaming and screeching at the top of her lungs and like begging for an epidural and like all this sort of stuff. It kind of scares you, like it's really gory, there's heaps of blood, but in reality, birth's beautiful. That's all. I think that's a really important thing to get into your head mentally, that birth happens, it's normal, it's natural, and it's part of life, and you were made to do this. What did you eat or drink during labor? So I didn't really eat or drink much at all. And pretty much anything that I did eat and drink, I ended up sort of throwing up and yep, that lovely stuff. But some of the things that I did eat throughout it, which did end up coming up, were blueberries, grapes, chocolate. I drank Blissful Herbs Birth Boost tea, and I drank coconut water and normal water. They're the only things that I ate or drank in the entire time. And the only time I actually kept food down was not too long before he came into the world. And I had some chocolate and I had some tea, and that was it. What helped most to ease labor? For example, swaying certain positions, singing. So ways that eased the intensity of labor for me were moving around any position that I felt like constantly, whether that was on the floor, standing up in the middle of the hallway, leaning on something or someone. They really helped. Hot or cold towels, that was really, really good. So basically my birth team would have the towel in the slow cooker so that it was constantly hot, and I'd bring that in and put that over my back, and then when that started to go cold, I'd take that off, put it in the slow cooker and grab another one. That was absolutely incredible, especially with a posterior baby where a lot of the labour was in the back. The water, so water of the bath, was absolutely incredible. Water getting tipped on my back in the bath was incredible. And then the shower was also an absolute must-have. I also just found in general that not holding back, so any sounds that I wanted to make, I made. So a lot of that was roaring and lower moaning sounds. It just happened naturally for me. It felt normal and right to do those things, but as well there's the science behind it that lower sounds open up your throat, and your throat and your cervix are connected. So if you're opening up here, you're opening up your cervix too, which obviously it needs to open up during birth. So roaring, the toilet was incredible as well, just being able to breathe that baby down. Lots of people end up spending time on the toilet. I totally understand why now. It was a place that I spent a lot of my time during my labour, and that really helped. I also found that I was humming a lot. My birth support team ended up saying that after a contraction I'd just be humming the whole time through it, so it was almost like I was singing my baby into the world, I suppose. So that really helped for me. Touch was also something that really helped. So I found that getting kissed by my partner, or by touching him, or having someone gently touch me as well, that really helped. We did try the comb, which I'm not sure if many people have heard about that, but basically you hold a comb and you press down in here, because these points here are acupressure points, but also because your body can only deal with so many sensations at once, and by focusing on pressing down on that, apparently it's meant to ease the pain. I did try that. I can't exactly remember if it helped or not though. But that's another thing for you to try. And then music was also really good. Favorite affirmations throughout pregnancy and labour. So I had a birth altar, which was these shelves here. I just set up a heap of little items that were special to me, and also I got my friends and family to all put something into the altar. It was mainly the strong women in my life, so there was crystals donated and candles and heaps of beautiful stuff. Quite a few people had also put in little affirmations, so they were all on display throughout the end of my pregnancy and during the birth. So some of them I got were: the turtle only makes progress when its neck is stuck out. Expect wonderful things to happen. Nature does not hurry, yet everything is accomplished. So I had those ones. I inhale positive thoughts, I exhale my fear. So that was another one from someone. And there was also: be calm, be at peace. The journey has started and you are in charge. Just ride the wave. So that was another affirmation that I had on display from a very special person. And then my own affirmations were, which I had made up on little watercolored paper that Edith and I painted together, and we had that on a string. So ride the wave. I am safe. I can and I will. I am surrounded by love. I will meet my baby today. Goodness, can you hear this wind? I am beautiful, I am powerful, I am free. I am opening, I am releasing, I surrender to this process. So I had those on display throughout my labour and the end of my pregnancy, but also during my labour I had an affirmation randomly come to me, which I do talk a little bit about in my blog post, which I'll put in the description below. And that was: the only way out is through, the only way through is out. And so to me that made a lot of sense. The only way out is through, so that was for me an affirmation for me. I had to get through it to get out of it, and then the only way through is out. And so that was kind of like a little affirmation to Otis, my baby, about how they have to get through it to get out, to be here. So that was really cool. And then just on this too, I visualized a lot about boats and waves and rocks and things like that. And that was due to another one of our friends who she spoke to me about how just imagine yourself in a boat riding the waves, going up and down, flowing with the river, and then occasionally you would get stuck at a rock or there was something there, and so you had to push through and flow back around it. And so I had a lot of that going through my head too. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I hope that you all got something out of it. Again, if you wanted to watch part 1 and part 2 where I answer a heap of other questions that people asked me, then check out the description box below and you will find them there. Thanks so much for the support, and don't forget to leave some questions about birth trauma and how I healed from birth trauma below if you would like me to do another video about that. So thanks for the support, and I will see you in another video.